We just need to work it into our daily vernacular. For example, instead of saying, "I love you," you could describe a terror attack.
U.S. surveillance targets, his extradition bid, and his fears for his family in an article.
All of the recommendations, most of the
In Parliament, an angry opposition is demanding answers. MPs want to know, are the two countries sharing information?
And that's how we start things off as we pick up part 2 of our look at them looking at us.
You mean the war of terror?
Yes. There is a war on terror going on right now. Apparently we're part of it, and they've caught one whole terrorist in 10 years. Way to go, guys. The NSA looking up the skirts of everybody on the planet. I'm Darren Howard.
I'm Robert Nisbet.
This is taking a look at Eric Snowden and Radio Free Canada. Blazing truth. All right, let's do it.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Due to the recent revelations that in order to fight terrorism, the NSA has been using a secret court order to spy on every single Verizon and AT&T customer, Americans have become outraged and concerned about their rights to privacy. But along with that concern comes a feeling of hopelessness. I mean, what can we do? Vote in new leaders? No? Elections are of no use. The only way to fight back against our country's excessive wiretapping and data mining is to make it irrelevant. That's why we're launching Operation Everyone Talk Like a Terrorist all the time. If we all openly discuss terrorist plots in each of our phone conversations, then eavesdropping on those phone conversations becomes pointless. It's simple. We just need to work it into our daily vernacular. For example, instead of saying, "I love you," you could describe a terror attack. The larger the scale, the more you love the person.
Hi, Mom. I just got out of school. Can you pick me up?
I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'm gonna use a truck bomb to blow up the Brooklyn Bridge.
I'm mailing anthrax to Piers to Morgan.
Or nonsense about God's will being great could mean affirmative.
Hey man, they have a 7:30 showing. Do you think you can make it in time?
God is merciful and his love is unchanging. Did you already get me a ticket?
Anti-racist is really just code for anti-white. Did you want me to?
Those that don't live by God's law deserve death, since I'm kind of tight on time.
Alright, I'm going to set off a pipe bomb at Disneyland.
Flying a Cessna into the Sears Tower.
And those are just a few examples. You can make up your own. Have fun with it. But it's time for us to stand up and protect our rights. I'm going to set off a nuke at the MTV Movie Awards.
Oh, man, that is how you start things off, yes?
You gotta say, the whole situation is eminently mock-worthy.
Oh, man. We would like to say to the NSA and CIA and, CSIS, bomb parts. Yes, indeed. Radio Free Canada said the words bomb parts, so it shows up on their little scanner thing.
And regular viewers of our page will notice that I always put up the randomly monitored Department of Homeland Security phrase of the day.
Yeah, randomly monitored security phrase of the day.
Yeah.
Is that for real, though?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so take a look at this phrase. Actually, take a look at this picture. It's radio. You know what I'm doing. What do you got for me, brother?
Well, Mr. Snowden is under threat of persecution by the U.S. government.
I know.
However, he's not going to go into hiding.
Yes, he's not going into hiding. He's going to stand his ground, and we had the clip before this. This is to follow up. It's Radio Free. Thanks for joining us. Check it out.
2 days after he was seen checking out of his Hong Kong hotel, Edward Snowden remains out of sight, but he's now broken his silence. Here's what he told the South China Morning Post. People who think I made a mistake in picking Hong Kong as a location misunderstand my intentions. I am not here to hide from justice. I'm here to reveal criminality. And to his critics, he says he's neither a traitor nor a hero. He went on to say he'd fight any extradition attempt, leaving it up to the courts of Hong Kong to decide his fate. The Post says that's only a preview of what Snowden has to say, promising to reveal more about U.S. surveillance targets, his extradition bid, and his fears for his family in an article posted later Wednesday. The 29-year-old ex-CIA contractor has been on the run since he revealed himself as the leak in the Guardian story on the NSA's top-secret phone and internet surveillance program. There are reports he's hiding in some sort of safe house, although his exact whereabouts are unknown. He's indicated at one point he might seek refuge in Iceland, and Russia has said it would consider giving him asylum. Some say Hong Kong makes for an unlikely hideout. The extradition treaty between China and the U.S. requires officials to send him back if asked to do so by the U.S. It's anyone's guess why Snowden is staying put. The Washington Post points out the U.S. hasn't filed a formal extradition request, meaning Snowden can still move freely from country to country. The U.S. Justice Department is reportedly preparing charges against Snowden.
Yeah, so he's not hiding. He's going to a place to release more information.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a pretty good way of looking at it.
Well, he doesn't want to become Bradley Manning.
No.
And get arrested and be held for 1,000 days.
I know. Bradley Manning, of course, coming out to defend the people and was vilified. It pointed out the fact that the government basically treats whistleblowers like criminals when really they're heroes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it shows us that, well, the government considers me and you the enemy.
It's good to be an enemy of the state.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of neat, right? Okay, remember, we are planning. The chair is against the wall.
Yes.
The chair is against the wall.
Of course, with all these revelations of the U.S. government snooping, people think, well, maybe Canada got away from it.
Now, yes. No.
A new report from Canada's Privacy Commissioner calls out Aboriginal Affairs and Justice Department for snooping the Facebook page of a First Nations advocate. Her name is Cindy Blackstock. She launched a human rights complaint against the government on behalf of First Nations children on reserve, only to find the federal government started spying on her. The privacy watchdog Jennifer Stoddard agreed, saying the Aboriginal Affairs and the Justice Department went too far, and she concluded the federal government violated the Privacy Act, Section 4, which reads that no personal information shall be collected by a government institution unless it relates directly to an operating program or an activity of that institution. Joining me now is Cindy Blackstock of the First Nations Child and Caring Society is here. The Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, Bernard Valcourt, was asked about this in question period, and I want to show our audience exactly what he said about your case. Check this out.
The fact of the matter is that we take very seriously Canadians' right to privacy, and all of the recommendations, most of the recommendation, if not all, Mr. Speaker, were already being implemented, and we shall fully implement the recommendations of the Commissioner.
All right, are you satisfied with that?
No, I'm not really, because back in 2011, the minister rose in the House and said that he took my privacy seriously and would do an investigation. Up until the time I sit here, Evan, I've not heard one word from the minister. I've never been advised the hearing went on, the investigation, what the results were. And now they're standing in the House and saying most of the recommendations, all of the recommendations. I'd like to see a personal apology from both the Ministers of Justice and Aboriginal Affairs and a public commitment that this is not happening to me anymore, and also importantly, not to other Canadians.
But of course, we know that it is occurring. Stockwell Day came out and said, well, there's all these unreported crimes occurring.
Yes, I wonder how they're finding out about these unreported crimes.
Yes.
Could they be snooping?
Can you put a dot here and a dot here and connect them?
And of course, she was such a serious criminal. She was a child care advocate.
Yeah, child care advocate. Getting snooped on, and of course, it's kind of one of those really ridiculous things. The Canadian government got its hand slapped. It's been implicated in this NSA thing too, right?
Yes, okay. Peter MacKay was questioned a little bit about it.
Yeah. Do you got this?
I do indeed.
Oh, man. See, that's why I love working around here. Check this out because, look, do your own investigation. You can do exactly what we do, and we are suggesting you start your own radio station. Okay, check it out.
At a cybersecurity conference in Toronto, the timely topic of many conversations, Edward Snowden's leaks about the U.S. government monitoring data. Canada's internet traffic goes largely through U.S.-based servers, and many Canadians fear for the security of their cross-border communications. In Parliament, an angry opposition is demanding answers. MPs want to know, are the two countries sharing information gained from the U.S. PRISM program and Canada's monitoring efforts? The government says it has no access to PRISM, but wouldn't say if it shared data with the U.S.
Did the Canadian government have access to PRISM? Yes or no?
Mr. Speaker, I have been crystal clear. This program does not target Canadians. Megadata is collected only on international, not domestic communications. And, Mr. Speaker, its only targeting is for foreign threats.
Canadians also learned this week that their country has its own cyber snooping program, quietly reintroduced by the government in 2011. The independent federal privacy commissioner is investigating whether people's fundamental rights to privacy have been violated in either Canada or the U.S. So the government's denying any links to PRISM and any sinister intent in its own data monitoring. But at very least, the inquiries and the interest sparked by this affair just might tell Canadians a lot more about who's keeping track of their phone calls, emails, and internet use. Daniel Lack, Al Jazeera, Toronto.
So there they are.
And, of course, Peter MacKay has never lied to the Canadian people before. I mean, the guy has absolutely zero credibility.
I'm looking at it, thinking back, remembering that helicopter ride. Okay.
I remember the report on the cost of the war in Libya.
The report of the cost of the F-35s. I don't know. Accountability, transparency, and now spying.
You'll just have to trust us.
Yeah, trust us.
And, we're not really tied into the American intelligence agencies. I say bullpucky.
Yes, in a very political way, we say, pitchfork time. Okay, check it out. We got lots of stuff coming up, so we got a bail right now so that you can go and check out some of our other videos. We've got Freeloaders on the way coming up September 15th. Warriors and Thieves coming out shortly after that. Some major documentaries about Monsanto and Occupy on the way. Wow.
And, of course, our 6-month retrospective of the biggest undercover stories of the year.
I mean, it's crazy. So right now, make sure you get on the internet, use your intellect. We're trusting you to be intelligent and to check our facts. We're not going to say trust us. I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
We're counting on you. Make sure you get out in the street, do something in public, and wake people up. This is Radio Free Canada. We're here to back you up.
Since 1971, when President Nixon took the United States off what was left of the gold standard, the world has operated under a system of money called fiat. The dollar, the pound, the euro are all government fiat currencies. Fiat is a Latin word meaning let it be so. It is the law that this government currency be money. Indeed, without that legal enforcement, and the fact that we must pay taxes in this money, that dollar bill or that computer digit that represents a dollar would be pretty much meaningless. Only the government has the power to issue fiat money, but banks can create it through lending. If somebody wants to borrow $10, a bank can create it from nowhere and lend it. It can then charge interest. Banks also create money by lending against an asset, such as a house. They're given the deeds to the house, and they create the money out of nowhere and lend it, at interest, of course. But who benefits? Of course, those that have the power to issue money, governments and banks. They haven't had to do anything productive, they just create money. However money is created, be it through lending, fractional reserve banking, financial bailouts, or old-fashioned money printing, banks are always at or near the top of the money-issuing pyramid. In reality, this process of creating money only redistributes wealth from the bottom to the top of the pyramid. And thus that ever-increasing gulf between rich and poor gets bigger and bigger and bigger.